everyone, and welcome to All on the Table Sidequests second episode. On this show, we play different games every month, be they board games, card games, or tabletop RPGs. We also have different players and different hosts, but for this month, you've got me. I'm Dana Prevey. I'm also known as Queen of No Pants if you see me in the chat. So this month, we're playing another game by Grant Howitt. Yes, we played one by him last month, but I promise this is not going to become the all Grant Howitt all the time show as much as I want it to be. He writes a lot of great games, and you should definitely check out his Twitter and his Patreon pages. I'll put a link to those in the chat in just a bit, along with a link to where you can download the game. It's up for a pay what you want, so if you want to follow along at home, please do. Some of his other games that you may have heard of are The Witch is Dead, which is what we played last month, Honey Heist, Lasers and Feelings, Spire, and Goblin Quest, but he's got so many others. Definitely check out his stuff. Now, the game we're playing this month is called Nice Marines, and it's a one-page game that's fairly straightforward rules, but it's got a lot of really cool mechanics in it, which hopefully we'll highlight during the course of play. As for the plot, well, let me just read that straight from the game. So it says, you are a space marine, an immortal giant genetically engineered to be the perfect instrument of war. You and your squad mates are Oathsworn protectors of the Astral Commonwealth and one another. The iconoclasts of the galaxy shiver in terror at the very mention of your name. However, support forces have not arrived following the recent liberation of Vanis, leaving you in charge of a diplomatic envoy dedicated to the rebuilding after the conflict. You have no idea how to do this. However, you've got one solar week until your superiors arrive to inspect the city. So, best get to it. And speaking of our Space Marines, I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves now and their characters. We've gone ahead and made up characters again, just because there are a couple kind of tricky bits in the character generation here. And also, we just did save time. All right, Elliot?
Hi, I'm Elliot, and I am playing Purple. And Purple also is really good at lifting objects. They really don't understand grav cars for some reason, and they love their Syax. Their axe is like their favorite, to be honest. And they are actually pretty decent at impressing civilians, and I think that has to do with their Syax. It's pretty cool.
Okay, and Cynthia?
I am playing Pink. Pink is not quite as good at lifting heavier objects as her teammates, but still pretty good at it. Her main thing is protecting civilians. She really, really likes her Ancient God pistol. She likes a lot of weapons, but that's her favorite for special occasions. And she has no idea why everyone keeps talking about art. Objects should have purpose other than to be looked at.
There are a couple comments I wanted to make about the characters. And the first is that I know someone is going to be watching this and they're already starting to type. But let me just say, this is not Warhammer 40K. We have women and non-binary Space Marines. And if anyone even thinks about typing some comment like that, I swear I will make the general in charge of the entire Legion high femme with 8-inch combat stiletto heels on her power armor. So don't test me on this.
I'm ready for that, actually. Why not do it now?
All right, fair enough. It's canon. One thing we do like to do on this show, on all the on the table programs, is we use a rule called the X card. It's also known as the red card. And basically what that does is if at any point during a scene, someone we come across a topic that is sensitive or triggering or is in any way uncomfortable for any of the players, they can just stop the action, say I'm playing a red card, or just stop it, stop the action, and we will rewind time and either redo that scene without the problematic element in it, or if there's no way to do that, we'll just skip that scene entirely. The whole point is to make things comfortable and fun for everyone playing. We highly recommend that use in your games at home as well.
If you don't use safety mechanics, you're a jerk. My personal opinion. Those are very important.
Honestly, in any game you play, it doesn't even have to be tabletop RPGs. You could just any game you play. If something is said that's like that's
stop.
like in the game, you just be like,
Yep, absolutely, yeah. And actually, on that topic, does anyone want to say any topics that they, in general, find off limits, or I shouldn't say off limits, but that makes them uncomfortable? For example, with me, I always say that body horror and transformations against one's will are always very uncomfortable for me. So I tend not to, I tend to not have those. Anything else?
Just don't have bugs crawling over me. I'm good. Or weird, creepy dolls.
Okay.
That's it.
I prefer to avoid grievous harm to small children.
Okay. Great. Anyone else? Anything else we want to avoid?
I think everything that I have was pretty much said. So.
Okay, great. So now we're going to do a little bit of world setup. And they can hear Juniper now. Yay!
Hooray!
All right. So the way the system sets up the world, there are two main power blocks, and you roll for what those power blocks are. So we're going to have Cynthia go ahead and roll for the first power block.
All right, D6.
It's two rolls on a D6.
Okay. Got a 5 and a 3. So it is
go ahead.
A well-intentioned but overwhelmed astral hyperchurch.
Okay. Sorry, I write slowly.
No worries.
You're good.
And actually, Elliot, do you want to roll the next one?
Yeah, what am I rolling?
A D6 and then another D6.
Okay. I got a 5 and a 1.
Why don't we reverse those just so that we don't have another well-intentioned but overwhelmed group? So
absolutely.
Why don't we do a incredibly pious, sanctioned executioners?
Okay, yeah, I'll roll with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we all happy with those two options?
I think
we'll work with it.
Yeah,
it's
it
fun.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster, but fun disaster. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And then for what the conflict is all about, Juniper, why don't you roll a D12 if you've got one there?
Yeah, got one right here. I got my barbarian die right here. That would be laws governing grav car parking and maintenance.
I was wondering if that was going to come up.
I'm useless. I'm sorry.
No, Elliot, do you feel okay running with that one, or do we want to re-roll that?
It's a recipe for disaster. Let's do it.
All right.
If everybody else is okay with Thembo being like, I can lift, but I don't know anything about these.
Okay.
Should we probably explain to the audience why we're all named after colors?
Sure. Yes,
Yeah.
that's actually a good point. I was thinking
Actually,
about
really
that
good
earlier.
point.
So, you want to go ahead?
Sure. So basically, we're all Space Marines. We were genetically designed for this purpose, and we were kind of given numbers because coming up with names for all of us would take too long. So they're just like you're this number, you're that number, but we all have uniquely colored armor, so we just call each other by the color of our armor. Makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, because listing off a full serial number in the heat of battle is not ideal.
Purple is dyslexic, so it does not help.
DG76IK, come over here.
I'm IK72.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right, so now that's the setup from the game itself. I do have a few questions that I'm going to ask just to get everyone on the same page. I find they really help kind of get everyone together. So I think it's kind of, this first one's a little obvious, but what tone did you want for the game? Excuse me. What kind of tone did you want for the game? I mean, we can go from full-on Looney Tunes to farce of manners to just put the Space Marines out there and see what they do. I personally do not feel comfortable doing full-on, grim, gritty, realistic.
No.
No, it's too early for that.
Exactly.
I would think maybe like slice of life-esque, because it's after the war, so we gotta kind of it's like almost like a sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Like just imagine these characters in How I Met Your Mother. Just like
instead of a blue trumpet, it's an orange oboe.
All right, well, does your squad have a name?
Squad name, what about Squad Do Good?
Squad Do Good?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Do you want it to be like a name that everyone kind of threw on your group and then you just ran with it? Or is it like, it's actually spelled D-U-G or J-O-O with an umlaut over it, D or something weird like that?
Personally, I like the idea that they're like, Squad Do Good. And we're like, yeah, we're Squad Do Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Perfect.
All right. I'm actually going to ask the chat to help with this one. Most of the action in the game is going to take place in a single city on Vanis. I'd like you to help actually pick the name of the city. So if you want to throw out any suggestions, ideas for the city's name, we can always just pick one. We'll pick from the suggestions. If we don't get any suggestions, we'll make up one of our own. But I'd like to have you guys try and think of something that will help us out here. And actually, to help with that, what is Vanis like? What kind of ecology does it have? Is it a desert world? Is it a water world with a few islands on it? Is it Arctic? What's the planet like? Any ideas? Is it Earth-like, maybe, or
maybe like very high tech, but kind of in a rundown sort of way?
Cyberpunky almost?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
So a little bit like Corsicant, but after it declined for a while.
Yeah. Coruscant after all the officials bought death sticks.
Right.
You want to buy some death sticks? You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life.
As has been pointed out, death sticks are the stupidest drug because literally the only effect that they have, they don't get you high or anything. They only take a year off your life. That is the only thing that you get from death sticks.
What's
Ooh,
a year at that
Danny
point,
V had a good
too?
suggestion in chat. Rune City.
Ooh, Rune
I love
City,
that.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, nice. All right. I actually wrote that in the wrong place. But what is the Astral Commonwealth like? Is it a Star Trek-like Federation that just happens to have a bunch of Space Marines in case things get rough? Is it a little bit like 40K, where it's empires and they go out and conquer everyone? Is it somewhere in between? What is it? What is the Astral Commonwealth to you?
I kind of like the idea of something Federation-esque where the face they put forward for everyone is diplomatic and peaceful, but they've got these Marines on the side that they throw at problems when they're needed.
Right.
But as far as our perspective goes, they are the greatest things to ever exist in the universe.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
like, oh yeah, of course, we all hell. They're great.
Is it one of those things that it's like, oh, you were sent to liberate Vanis, and were sent to liberate them from not being in the Astral Commonwealth? Or is it more, there was actually a problem and you were sent in to solve the problem?
I think there was an actual problem that they
Yeah,
had
I
to
think
solve.
so too.
Okay. Okay. And so we know a bit about the planet. What is Rune City like? Is it the capital? Is it a holy city? Is it why is it important, and why is the action going to take place there?
I'd like to think it's maybe a holy city because it's a rune city. I don't know.
Yeah,
It just sounds
and
cool.
and one of the blocks is an astral hyperchurch. So
And the other is incredibly pious, so that makes a lot of sense, actually.
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
and they don't like that, all these new people are coming in to park their cars in their areas when it's just like we need that room for people to make their pilgrimages, right?
Exactly. All right. Great. Well, that's what I've got. So, all right. Sorry. So let's imagine a shot of Vanis, a scene from space. Small lights are sprinkled all over the surface of the planet, and then a dropship containing our space marines falls to the planet on a pillar of fire. It lands, and a small compound extends forth from it, and our space marines walk forth to liberate the world from the scourge that has befallen it. 3 days later, all the fighting's done. You go to sleep and secure in the knowledge that Vanis is now safe and once again a happy member of the Federation. But on the morning of the fourth day of your arrival, you get the message that I described so well, reading from the text earlier on, that now your diplomatic backup will not be arriving for a week, and your command expects you to make the population happy as well as peaceful, and solve any problems that you can before you are reviewed by the diplomatic corps and your commanding officer. And that is the whole of the message. So you stand around in the small courtyard of your of the compound, go ahead and go.
So they said we're here for like a week?
About
What?
You've
Just
been there for about
clarification.
three. You've been there for 3 days, and as far as I'm concerned, you were the only 3 they sent, and you took care
Okay.
of the whole problem in 3 days.
Perfect.
That's
All right.
how. And just so the audience knows, one of the mechanics in this game is there are no mechanics for combat. The Marines just win. They are so powerful that no one can stand against them. It doesn't. You don't roll. Don't do anything. It just happens. So, like I say, as far as I'm concerned, you've been there for 3 days. This is the morning of the 4th day. You have a week until they're going to arrive.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for the clarification.
Oh, no problem. So go ahead and discuss.
Aqua, Purple, what do we do now? I'm usually back in hypersleep at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. This is unusual. I saw a dog. That was cool.
Dogs are cool. Dogs are cool. Maybe we could go and I think the word is talk to people. Try and figure out like what the goings are around here. Just to maybe see if we can keep everything not hostile until they get here.
Yeah, I think we could do that. They shouldn't be too rude to us. We did, help them. So I think that talking should be fine.
Yeah. And there was quite a bit of damage though. There was quite a bit of damage. I don't know how kind they'll be to us with that. Maybe
we can help.
Maybe we could help, but I'm not too good at like putting things back together. I'm better at breaking things apart. So if there's a job where I need to break something apart, I can do that.
I could definitely do that, but I can also help carry things.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course we can carry things.
We can definitely carry things and try to help them. Try not to hammer too hard though, and break things more.
And just make sure the civilians keep not getting hurt.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Should we like bring a gift or something? Just I don't know.
I think the only gift they'd want is money, and I don't.
We don't really have pockets in this armor.
Yeah.
So
we gave them the gift of not being in harm's way anymore.
Yeah,
I think we've got that covered.
That's a good gift. Yeah.
We keep saying them. Who do we talk to?
I don't know.
Oh, does the dog know?
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know if the dog would know.
I don't speak dog.
I don't either, but maybe
Okay.
if we follow the dog, he could lead us into somewhere.
Yeah, just.
He was like down the block, like.
Is it that way?
Near the red building.
That way.
No, that way.
Wait,
near the red building.
That way. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can keep an eye out. Maybe they're like us and they have a commanding officer who's yelling orders. So if we see someone yelling orders, that might be a person to talk to.
Okay.
Because they might be in charge and know what's going on.
That's true.
Or the dog could be in charge.
Oh, I love that. I think that would be a very good boy.
I think so. Yeah. I think that dog would do good.
Mm-hmm. Let's go find the dog.
Let's go find the dog. Red building to like a block down.
That way. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
I immediately go sprinting off in the wrong direction.
Other way. Your other left.
Oh, okay.
Military left.
Right. Left.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So we know what Aqua is doing for the day. Are you all going to stick together, or are you all going to embark on different projects for the day? Or would you like to do some more information gathering and such before you decide on your plans?
Information gathering on my end.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out who exactly to talk to.
All right. So, Aqua, you run up and actually do find the dog. Your scanners, are zoom give you a 3D image of the whole area and target in on the dog. Put a big red reticule over it so you can find it quickly. It looks like a big sheepdog looking thing with matted fur, and it's just sitting there, surrounded by some teenagers, actually, that are just kind of hanging out and petting the dog.
I guess I'll go up to the teenagers. I'll wave at them. Hello.
Um, Hi. So they kind of wave back, but once they heard the thump of your armor coming towards, they're like, hi. How are you?
I'm great. I see. There's a dog here. I like dogs.
Yeah, this is our dog Rufus. He's
Rufus.
Yeah, Rufus. Say hi, Rufus. Rufus just looks up at you and thumps its tail a couple times.
Oh.
Is there something we can help you with?
Actually, I think maybe that should be the other way round, because I think maybe I need to help you with something. Right? That's what they said, right? Yes. Help you with something. I don't remember what the something was.
We're good right now. We're just you. Well, did you kill all the bad guys?
I think so.
Yay! I mean, that's kind of what we were hoping for. What?
I mean, if y'all like. I'm not really good at this part.
Well,
I'm usually gone by now, and usually my boss is here, but my boss is late, so they sent me to go figure out what to do.
Okay. Well, any of you got any ideas? One of I'm just gonna say the teenager's girlfriend leans and whispers in her ear something. She says, "Oh yeah, that'd be good." So some of the buildings got kind of knocked down during the fighting. Maybe you could help fix those. I mean,
I'm probably the person who did most of the knocking them down, but I can try.
Okay. Actually, you know who you might want to talk to is the bishop. Yeah, the bishop might know, or you could talk to Commander Tang, but you would probably be fine talking to Commander Tang. None of us want to talk to Commander Tang.
Commander.
But, yeah.
Who's that?
You don't know Commander Tang? He's in charge of the enforcers. The religious enforcers? Yeah. Well, and they say they enforce the religious laws and all the laws and such, but I mean they do. I mean they enforce them real hard. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I'm pretty good at enforcing too. Usually the forcing part, but maybe I could talk to them. I don't know. Where are they?
Well, Commander Tang, I don't know where they are, but I mean Commander Tang's probably in their headquarters, and the bishop is probably over at the church.
What's the church?
Here,
do you have like a map or something? Maybe like a digimap or something.
I had it on my phone, but the phone services are the data link services are down. But why don't
Interesting. I have pretty good connection.
Well, for all of us, the data link's been down for like a day and a half. It's awful. Can't watch any of the vids or anything. Hey, maybe that's something you could fix. Could you fix the data link?
Where's that? I could try.
I don't know. It's just always around. It's I don't know who you talked to about that.
Is there something that maybe could be lifted back into place to fix that?
I don't know. Look, we're just kids. We have a day off from school because the school got blown up.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Really, actually, we really appreciate that one.
I never really had school, so I
What, you didn't have school?
No, I was grown in a pod.
Oh, that makes sense, I think. Okay. Anyway, here, why don't I just show you where the church and the HQ are, the enforcers headquarters are.
Of course.
All right. So she's gonna lead you, and actually the others tag along at kind of a safe distance. Actually, Rufus follows pretty close to your heels too.
Doggo.
Actually, hold on just 1 second here. Sorry. Anyway, they lead you to first what anyone who isn't you would consider a very imposing building. It's a very brutalist cement building behind a steel fence with barbed wire, razor wire all over it. There are guards at the gate, all wearing a uniform and very unimpressive armor, all with a little symbol on their collars indicating that they are. Well, you actually aren't really sure what the symbol means. It looks like some sort of affiliation symbol, like where normal troops would have their flag. And again, I'm sorry about this. Something in my throat. Anyway, but again, it actually seems kind of out of place, as all the other buildings are very high-tech glass, steel, hyperglass and mega steel buildings, and there's this just solid. It looked like it was carved out of a very ugly rock building there, with very few windows. The few windows that are there are basically arrow slits. So that's the first place she leads you. So here's this place, and why don't I show you to the church, and then you can talk to the folks.
Okay.
So she leads you over to basically across town. It takes a while for her with her non-arm power armor enhanced legs to get there, and it is a very modern, very fancy, very large church. Even basically your heads-up display just says "church" right on it. It's straight out of the book, and it's elegant. The main thing, it's in a little bit of disrepair, but at one time it must have been gorgeous, or what people think of as gorgeous. Actually, no, you understand art. Yeah, it would have been gorgeous at one point.
Yes, I understand art just fine.
But the main thing you notice about it is that the lines of people coming out the door, and your teenager friend says, "Yeah, it's kind of always like this. There's a lot of people who need help and services and food and whatever else they can get." So, did you need anything else, or can I go?
Oh yeah, you're fine. Thank you.
Oh, no, yeah, thanks. Thank you for.
I offer my hand to shake.
She like takes both of her hands around your thumb and is like, yeah. Thank you for everything. Bye. And she
Bye.
runs off, and the dog kind of Rufus kind of looks between you and her, and
Bye, Rufus.
wags its tail and runs off after her.
Cute.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do now?
I think I'm gonna go inside the church, and that might be a good idea, a good time to swap over to the other two.
Exactly.
maybe, for a
That's
bit.
exactly what I was thinking. So I was wondering. I'm just going to say that if it's okay with you, you've relayed all this information to your teammates, or at least the locations of the two churches. It's been updated in
Yes.
the.
I go on our comm link, which is working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For some reason, our comm link's working, but theirs aren't. I don't know. I specifically this is me in character. For some reason, my comm link's working. Theirs aren't though. I don't know. Like they said something about a data link being messed up. I don't know.
I think we have some tech that they don't, so we probably have a stronger signal.
That could be it. We do have our giant ship. It could just be that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that basically information that you get on your heads-up display and all that is uploaded to the squad's database for the planet, so you have real-time tactical information. So, all right. So, based on what Aqua has discovered, Purple and Pink, what would you like to be doing?
Aqua is at the church, and the other building was more like a government type building.
It was
or the commander building.
Headquarters of the enforcers.
I'll go over
And
there.
actually,
So, yeah,
there's a little bit of a readout if you look into the database, and basically it says that they are a let's see. It describes them as a religious organization charged with the enforcement of religious and societal rules, as well as religious and civil rules. They are authorized by the planetary government to perform executions as needed. Their authority is basically everything from a slap on the wrist, literally, all the way up to murdering someone they feel has done a heinous crime.
Great.
Yeah, I think that sounds.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, let's. I'm okay going investigating that.
I am too. I'm a little weary though, because the executing thing sounds like the opposite of what we're here to do. We're here to protect the people.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think.
But they do sound like they're in charge and might have orders and be able to tell us what they need help with.
Yeah, even if we don't really jive with that, that's probably at least a place to start, even if they're a little extreme, it looks like.
A little bit, yeah.
I know we just killed a bunch of bad things, but those are bad things, so...
Yeah, no, the fighting stopped, therefore
Yeah.
all the people still alive are civilians, and that's
exactly.
who we need to
yeah.
protect.
That's number one.
All right. So you want to head over to the headquarters there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you both going, or do you want to split up on different projects?
So I'm still trying to figure out what my project is, so I want to go get the information from there.
All right, fair
I
enough.
think we might split up on different tasks after that.
Yeah, after that, definitely.
All right. So you head over to that building. It is, as I described earlier, big, ugly, brutalist building with tiny little window slits. There are the guards at the gates basically square up to challenge you. which is not something that usually happens to you. I'll have to say. What's your business here?
We are here to protect the civilians of this planet and help rebuild, I think is the term.
Okay. Are you here to see someone or
Whoever's in charge.
so Commander Ting then? Or Commander
Yes.
Tang?
It's Commander
Right,
Tang,
yes.
that's right.
Yes. Do you have an appointment?
No.
No.
But
Oh,
we're
well,
pretty
no
sure
one sees
Commander
Commander
Tang wants to
Tang
see
without
us.
an appointment.
Oh, can Commander Tang make an appointment with us?
Or can we make an appointment with him?
That would work too, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Hold on a second. He calls in. Yeah, no, he's on a comm link. He's like, no, they're power armor and everything. No, I mean, there's a chainsaw on his gun. Yeah, no, that would probably be a good idea. Okay. Right. Someone will be right out.
Much appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And a small person comes out. They are wearing a very similar uniform, but with many more insignias on their lapel. They are fastidious. They are neat and completely put together. They remind you of some of your commanding officers, actually, in that regard. Not necessarily the ones you liked, but very military order put together. Hello there. Can I help you with something?
Oh, well, we actually want to help you. Everything has seemed to wrap up, so we just are wondering, is there anything we can do for you while we're waiting to get back home?
Why, I'm sure we could find some projects for you to work on. Yes. Why don't you come inside? I think we have a. Actually, why don't they start leading you to the front door and realize you won't fit through it? So they say, maybe around the back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So they lead you around to what normally would be a load. Actually, is a relatively busy loading dock, but they bark a couple of orders and people clear out immediately. There are a lot of projects that need to be done right now. Oh, and by the way, my name is Chandra, and I'm going to be I'm Commander Tang's liaison.
Okay.
And the main thing we need to do is during those few days of fighting, there was it was just anarchy on the streets. Everyone was just violating all the rules, and we need to reestablish order amongst the people. And we have our people out there, but we lost so many of them in the fighting that it's I mean, punishing people for their crimes is not an easy job, and we just don't have the resources to do that right now. But also, and that would actually free some people up for our negotiations with the church. There's a whole there are some issues going on that we need to resolve, and as we are, the well, I'm not going to bother you with that right now. Just, but yes, if you could assist our people in reestablishing order and of course, rebuilding any emplacements or bases that were destroyed, that would be great. And I suppose some of the hospitals or schools and that kind of thing would probably make the people less inclined. I mean, if they're properly educated, they aren't going to violate the laws. So We need to get them back into their proper educational system. So if you could help rebuild the schools, that would help. There are a lot of projects that we could really use your help with.
I'm here for that. Yeah, definitely like a hospital too. I don't know how many people got injured, unfortunately, due to us or the other people. So,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, no, the battle was going on for quite some time before you arrived. So, um, yes, no, that would probably also very much help, especially a hospital for our wounded troops.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I think I heard someone saying that your communication system is down. Is there anything
Yes,
we can do to assist with that?
well, there are people working on that, but any assistance you could provide, I'm sure, would be grateful. That way, we can, continue broadcasting our messages of loyalty and obedience to the rules and all that. That would be a great help.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, I can give you the name of the person who's working on that if you'd like to go speak with her.
Yes, please.
Here, and she goes and grabs a document, or well, let's see. She grabs a screen and it comes up with a map, which your suit just basically absorbs, and her name is Scruffy. That's not her real name, but it's the only thing she'll answer to. Um, and she's over in the maintenance sector. So if that's something you want to work on, um, is there anything else I can help you with?
No, you gave us so much more information than we could have even imagined. Yeah, that I
Great.
would love to help.
I appreciate it. Thank you for all of your hard work so far, and we really really look forward to working with you in the future. And if you need anything else, here's my contact information. It's in your suit database now.
Mhm.
Then just don't hesitate to let me know.
Thank you.
We'll give a ring.
Okay? And while you decide what to do with that information, I'm going to go back to Aqua and talk a little bit about what happens in the church. So you are standing outside the church. How do you approach this situation? And like I say, there are people lined up, just many people thick out and past the courtyard of the church. They all look hungry, dirty, tired, poor, etc.
Aqua realizes that she didn't get a description of what the bishop looks like. So she's going to go up to one of those random people and be like, "Are you the bishop?"
What? No, no. The bishop's inside. I'm sure. Um, do you not know the bishop? Her Holiness.
No, I didn't even know that word before today.
Oh, okay. Uh, can you hold my place? Sure. Maybe I'll be able to. I'll take you up and point her out if I can. Um, so he leads you up to the front door, and people obviously get out of your way. The doors of the church are actually huge, so you can actually fit through them, and it's you walk
Nice to see
inside.
doors built for me.
Yeah, you walk inside, and it's a huge cathedral-like space, very high ceilings, um, and but instead of pews and an altar and all of that, it's basically it's various, like, on one side there's a soup kitchen, on another side there's a clothing exchange, and on another there's a medical clinic, and at another corner there are clearly there is a confessional area, but it seems like it's more for counseling than confessions. So it's basically private areas where people go in and come out looking like they're much in. Actually, no, correction. People go in and they come out and their expressions have changed. Sorry, excuse me again. I'm so sorry about this.
Have they become happier after coming out, or do they look
It's hard
sad?
to tell. As I say, it's hard to tell because you don't understand sadness.
Exactly. So it's just like, but I do understand happiness, so I know what
You
happiness
understand
looks
that.
like.
So they definitely look more happy when they exit. Or
They
if
must
not
go in
more
there to
happy,
lift heavy
at
objects.
least, if not more happy, at least more at peace, because you understand the concept of being at peace. You've never experienced it, perhaps, but that's up
What's
to you.
peace? I only know fight.
Exactly. Anyway, rapidly moving through all of these areas and surrounded by just a cluster of people, and they're like constantly signing things off and talking to someone else, is a person who's wearing what would be like a fine, what you out of character, it's what you'd imagine a holy person to be wearing, like what you'd imagine the Pope to be wearing, except very practical and very worn, and without the hat.
Without
And
that,
and your friend's like, that's her over there. That's Her Holiness Bishop Teresa of the Runes. She's in charge here.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, she's really good. So if you can help her out in any way, we all really would appreciate it. And everyone standing around you is sort of like, yeah, we really would.
Thank you for your help, person. I didn't get your name.
Roger, but thanks. Anyway, bye. And
Bye.
he goes to go back to his place in line. And that's another thing you notice is that the lines here are very long. They are moving, and there's no like pushing and shoving, no struggles to get to the front of the line, or no swarming or stampeding. So, what do you do?
I'm gonna go up to the bishop. At least I'm going to attempt to.
Yeah, people get out of your way.
Kind of like walking on eggshells as I get up there, making sure I don't step on someone.
Yeah. The floor is actually solid enough that you don't dent it as you walk through, so that's nice.
I'm sure in the very quiet, very vaulted church, I sound very loud with the.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So probably they could
basically
hear me coming from a mile away. Yeah.
Yes. Stealth was never an option. But and people do turn and look at you and are like, "Wow, I've never seen a Marine in real life." Once in a lifetime, they're like showing their kids, "Ooh, look!" But and people do get out of your way, and the bishop, however, doesn't look up. She's still busily signing things and talking to people. And as you get up, she's like, so if the grains can arrive by Thursday, then we should be able to set up the extra soup kitchen in Sector 5. But if otherwise, we're going to have to fall back on the emergency. Oh, right. Can you handle this? Is it okay? Great. Thank you. Hi. Did you need something?
I
appreciate your help. I'm kind of in the middle of a lot of things.
Yeah, I can see that. There's a lot of people I'm assuming they're here to see you, so you must hold a
Well-
lot of authority here.
Well, I'm the head of the church, and they're mostly here for services and supplies and what we can provide. There's a lot of people who were left in very bad places by the recent conflicts before you arrived, of course, and even before then, we were not a wealthy planet. Things took a turn about a couple centuries back, and we've never really recovered.
Ah, well,
Um,
a bunch of people told me to come see you about possibly maybe helping out, because my
that would be
boss isn't
great.
here yet. My boss usually covers this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, anything you could do to help would be amazing, she says, absent-mindedly signing another document and handing it off. If we have so many things that need to be done, getting more the factory that supplies a lot of our medical supplies was damaged. We're having problems getting food supplies in. There's never enough food. The power grid is has been on its last legs for years, and recent events really haven't helped it. I mean, what do you think you're able to do?
Um, I I don't know how good I'd be with the power stuff, but I heard food and I like food. So maybe
Okay.
I'll help out with that.
Okay, great. Anything you can do? Hold on just one second. Um, I think there's a spare power converter in the lab in the old rectory. I know we're just using it for storage, but let's see if you can find it. Okay. I'm sorry. So yeah, the yes, anything you can do to bring in more food for the people, that would really help. Um, uh, uh, see. Sabine, do you have any? Can you help Sabine will help you out. I'm sorry, I have to go. There's just too many people who need help right now. But Sabine should be able to help you. She gestures to a actually a rather tall, thin, androgynous-looking person. Uh, Hello. What can I do? Yes.
Are you Sabine?
I'm Sabine. Yes, I believe the bishop wants me um, to assist you, and actually it's Reverend Sabine. But um, anything I can do to help? You said that you were interested in helping bringing in food.
Yes, I like food, and I like making sure people get food. So
Good. Well, um, there are a few things that could probably be helped with. I know there's some problems with the roads um, between here and the outlying provinces where the food comes in from. I know that one of the factories for processing the food was damaged. So anything you can do with that. Um, I mean, anything would raise the spirits of that could raise the spirits of the people. Food certainly would do it, but anything you can do to raise people's spirits would really be help.
I give a bit of a confused look because she's kind of talking about sadness, and I don't really quite understand that. So I
Right.
give a bit of a confused look.
Um, to make people happier, more happy. To Things are really not good. So if you could make things better, that would be good.
Good.
Right.
Better is good equals happy. Gotcha.
Right. Yes. And if you have any questions, I'll be here. Here's my contact information. Again, Torb's right away. I need to get back to the meal program. We do have some food here. We have to ration it out to the people who need it. So, if there's anything, did you need anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Thank you. And they hustle off. So,
Bye.
all right. So I think we've reached the point where I want to hear what your approaches are for the day, what you're planning on doing, and how you plan on doing it.
So
Let's start. Elliot, you want to start?
yeah. So Purple wants to check out the hospital, survey the area, see how run down it is, and see how many people they are and anything. And they can help with putting the building a little bit together or moving things around that they need. But they just also want to mainly survey and see, is there a particular person that looks like they need the most help?
Okay.
Yeah.
What approach are you going to do? Are you going to do, is this more building and repairing, or is it gathering information? Living? What do you think? What approach are you going with?
I think for now, gathering information.
Okay. So we'll do that. Roll in a minute.
Okay.
Actually, no. This is a good chance to explain the mechanics for rolling. Each roll in Nice Marines represents a major thing. So in general, you're going to do one roll a day to to represent all the progress that you've accomplished. Now, one of the neat mechanics here is that each approach, like I said, there's different approaches each Marine has, and they're like being nice to civilians, building and repairing things, holding parades, that sort of thing. Each one is assigned a dice of various sizes, from a D6 all the way up to a D20. Now, if they roll a 1, that's a failure. That's the only way you fail in this game, is by rolling a 1. A 2 to a 4, that's some success, some failure. It's you more or less accomplished what you wanted, but not perfectly. A 5 or a 6 is just a flat out success. Everything above a 6, though, is complete success, but with collateral damage of one level or another. Starting with a minor collateral damage, all the way up to, if you roll a 20, there is catastrophic collateral damage. Now, because of the way we're playing the game, the tone we want to set, I'm not going to say, like, you accidentally blow up the planet, or you don't. They're not mass civilian casualties.
Okay.
But it might be like you undo a lot of your good work that you've done so far. So basically, the dice don't necessarily represent how good you are at something, because Space Marines are good at just about everything. It represents how enthusiastic you are about your approach. So. Why don't you go ahead and roll that now? And we'll see
what this blue and purple bad boy does.
Oh, okay. No. All right. Yes.
Oh, that's a 1.
That is a 1.
That's a 1. I am not good at this.
We will get to that in a minute. All right. Cynthia, do you want to let us know what Pink is doing?
Pink wants to help out with repairing the communications network. So she's going to go talk to Scruffy and try to gather information to see what best she can do.
Okay. So that should be no problem. So why don't you go ahead and your approach is gathering information?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll that now?
All right. That's an 8.
An 8. So that is success with minor collateral damage. All right. We'll remember. And then Juniper, Aqua. What is Aqua doing?
So I'm gonna go and get the food and try and hand it out to people. I just want to make sure people get food.
Okay.
I don't like seeing people go hungry, so I want to make sure everybody has something to eat.
Let's say you're going to clear. Well, what is your approach to this? What approach do you want to take?
I'm thinking maybe being nice to civilians? I don't know.
Well, I could see it being building and repairing things or lifting heavy objects because you're clearing the
True.
roadways.
Yeah. I got to clear the roadways, and then of course I'm gonna probably carry like several tons of food just in one arm.
Right. Okay.
So lifting heavy objects, is it?
If you'd like, you get to pick the approach in all of
Well, I like lifting things, so I think definitely. So I'm gonna be using my trans-themed D20 here.
these. Very nice.
And
All
yes,
right.
this is a D20, which means there might be a lot of collateral.
Look, you could roll a nat 1 like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always a chance.
I love when that happens, honestly, because it's more fun.
That's a 2.
Ooh.
Okay, so mixed success, but no collateral damage.
It
All
was
right.
literally one tip away from a nat 20. So
All right. So, let's go back around. Purple, you make your way over to the hospital, and your goal is to gather information. So, you arrive, and there are just people running around everywhere. You've seen battlefield, hospitals before, and that's kind of what's going on here. There's a lot of wounded people, but there's also a lot of people who are just sick, and that's not something you've ever experienced before. And so you gather up you basically get a doctor or someone who looks like a doctor. You're like, hey, could you explain what's going on here to me? And they do. They try and explain everything, but for whatever reason, the concept of people being unwell but not from having been shot or stabbed or something just doesn't happen. That can't happen. How could that possibly happen? And so they spend so much time trying to communicate what is actually going on with you and all that you, by the time you're like, okay, I gotta get back to base and talk this over with everyone, and then you realize, but you're back at the dropship and you're like, I never found out who was in charge at the hospital or what I needed to do. So, but your mind has been blown by this concept. All right, Cynthia, you rolled an 8, and you were
information.
So you go and find Scruffy, and Scruffy is she's one of those women who could be anywhere from 60 years old to 300 years old, and she is made entirely of grizzle and overalls and a short, let's be honest, probably lesbian haircut. And she's like, you're, and by the way, I should point this out. You recognized her on sight because there is a Scruffy on every planet in the solar or the astral Commonwealth, and they all look pretty much the same, and they all generally know what they're doing. So your database actually pops up with all of this information.
Yeah.
And she's like, so you're one of the Marines I've been hearing about. What can I do you for?
I'm here to help you fix the communications network.
Okay, well, we could use that. All right, here, why don't I sit down with you and show you what's wrong? And you and she sit down and start working on it. You're like, oh yeah, no, I actually think I have a spare part here in my suit. And by the end of the day, not only do you have the communications network up and running again, it's actually way better than it used to be, to the point where some of the stuff that was like underneath the broadcast, especially from the enforcers channels, that might have been I don't know, supposed to be subliminal. Basically, you made the subtext text in the broadcast
Excellent.
somehow. And Scruffy looks at that and says, huh, about damn time, but that's going to cause some problems. And you're like, what do you mean? Nothing, you did a good job. Thank you.
Happy to help.
And so you head back to the ship, confident in a job well done. And now, Aqua, you were... All right, so you were bringing food in from the outer districts where it's grown and processed. And you are able to clear the roadways enough for some of the trucks to start getting through. You're starting to realize it's going to be more than a one-day project, though. And just, so you can't, there's just too much damage on too much of the roadway for one day just shoving cars out of the way to really fix. So you decide you're just going to grab as much food as you can carry and just hoof it over to the church, and which you do, and they are very grateful to get it. So
Imagine I just walk into the church with like basically what would be considered like a mountain of food just on my shoulder, and I just kind of plunk it down in the middle of the sanctuary, and it just be like
a pallet in each arm, just loaded with crates and bags and stuff, and plunk it down, and they're like,
I just go
food. That's great. Is there more coming as well? Because this will last us at least a day. Oh, thank you.
There's still a lot of stuff in the road. It's gonna take a bit longer than I thought.
Okay, great. Well, we really appreciate what you're doing here. Thank you. And so you head back to the drop ship again. Not as happy as you could be, but still, you made a difference today.
Yeah,
so
no sad. I don't know what sadness is. It doesn't exist.
Exactly. So you gather together, the three of you, for your evening debrief. Go ahead and discuss.
So people can get hurt not just by guns and knives.
What?
Yeah!
What? Like heavy things falling on them when they explode, right?
Right.
No, like they could get like sick. Like
What's that?
Sick.
Something like, I guess.
Well, I think I've heard that before. I think I've heard that term before.
You know, when you go to a different...
It's what someone says when something's really, really good, right? So it's a good thing, yeah?
No, they're saying this is a bad thing. Like, you know when we go on different planets and we have to change different things in our systems for the air to be different?
Yeah.
So, imagine that, except they don't have that regulation. So, instead, they're breathing in bad things that make them feel... Well, foreign things that make them feel bad. From what I've been told. So
they need new helmets?
I mean, I don't think they need... Well, they probably could use some helmets, but they don't have them like us.
So, like, the air is stabbing them from the inside.
As far as I can tell, air stabs them on the inside, and, like, it can be air that they've breathed all their life, but it just makes them feel bad, or they, like, puke? I don't know. Or, like, they eat something, and then their stomach just gets attacked by something. I don't know. I don't understand. They really did their best trying to explain things to me, but I don't think I helped. What did you guys do?
Pretty sure I beat your lifting record today.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations. I had 20 crates per arm filled with food.
I've only done 20. Wait, you said 20 per... Okay. Huh. I've only done, like...
per arm.
per arm. Oh my god, no, I've only done like 15 per arm.
Yeah. So I beat you. So
Congrats.
yeah, I beat your record.
Dang. Oh, I gotta work on that. Dang.
I made it so those teenagers' datacomms will work again, and everyone else's.
Oh, yay, good.
And,
That's good.
And apparently, there was messages that the enforcers were sending out that they weren't getting, and now they're getting those too, and they can read them and understand what's going on.
We love to see that. That's
Yeah.
wow. So they're on like our level, except you. Can you do that
I
for
wouldn't go that
ours?
far.
Like a little, even more?
I don't know. Like Scruffy did something with my parts, and she just made it work.
We need a Scruffy, but like
We do. But like,
Maybe
I
we
don't
could
know
take
if we
that
need one
Scruffy.
because there seems to be one on every planet already.
But there's not
Right.
one in our ship.
yeah,
That's
we need a ship
true.
Scruffy.
Maybe I'll see
Maybe-
if she's interested in coming back with us.
We'll see.
All right. So, eventually you go back to your sleeping pods and night passes and you wake up in the morning. We start on the second day of the week you have before your superiors arrive. You start your day at your morning briefing. How do you want to proceed for the day?
I want to see if somebody wants to come with me to the hospital to try to like see if they understand what's going on.
I was actually going to ask them if they wanted some help at the hospital.
Yeah, well,
because-
Absolutely.
I'll go with you, but I might need your help moving some more stuff out of the road so that way it gets done quicker. So that
I
way they
got
get more food.
this.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Because I want to go back and keep moving stuff out of the road, but it's probably going to take a couple days just doing it by myself. But I think if you help me,
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
Purple, it'll go like 3 times as fast.
oh, we are strong. We got this.
Hey, since you two are so good at lifting and moving things, do you want me to handle the hospital while you two handle the roads?
Actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, you're let me go around the room and just make sure I've got it. Juniper, Aqua is going to go continue what she was basically working on yesterday.
Mhm.
And Purple is going to join her. Correct, Elliot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to help alongside of Aqua.
Okay. And then Cynthia Pink is going to go to the hospital and let's run some quick scenes to describe what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with Pink. Actually, you get to the hospital. It is basically as described. There by Purple yesterday. Lots of people running around. Lots of people being treated. The hospital is in fact fairly damaged, but so some of the people, and it's overcrowded at the moment, so people are being treated in hallways. There's 1 or 2 people who are being treated outside because fortunately the weather's pretty good today. What do you want to do once you arrive?
I want to kind of like vaguely keep an eye out for someone in charge, and make sure I'm not pissing anyone off. But I just kind of want to approach the structure and try to fix the damage that I see. Like,
Okay.
I know that Purple got way too confused talking to people yesterday. I don't want to mess with that. I just want to make this building less damaged.
Okay. So you're just gonna show up and start working.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Actually, I'm happy with that. Yeah, no, we'll just do that.
Okay.
Okay. So, Aqua and Purple. So, Aqua explains to you that there are a couple things that need to be done to really secure the food supply. And this is, aided by the database, reading from her meeting. And it basically says that, so yes, clearing the roads is very important, very good. They also need the processing facilities, because while there's a lot of food that's processed out in the outer districts, there's also some food that needs to be processed in town. So they're barely feeding the people. People are on the verge of starvation right now. If you cleared the roads and all of that, I'll say that they'll be fed, but there'll still be some hungry people around. If you can get the roads and the factory fixed, then they'll be fine. That's really those are the two big things on the food supplies.
Okay.
So what are you gonna do first? Are you just gonna set to work, or are you gonna find some people? Are you gonna survey the situation?
Well, Aqua definitely has some insight with the roads and everything, knows probably how much more needs to get cleared. So I say if the both of us are able to handle a little bit of the roads, then we move forward to the factory, just make it a tiny bit easier. And then we split off depending on how that factory situation goes. Juniper, do you have any?
No, I think that works. Yeah. And then,
Cool.
depending on what's going on at the factory is what we do after that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to. So you say you're going to start with the roads, and then you're going to get to the factory.
Yeah. Like make
okay.
a path along the way, since we got to go to the factory anyway. So
Exactly. No. Great. When you get to the factory, there are people who are sort of working there trying to repair it, getting it up. Do you want to discuss anything, or like Pink, are you just going to start working without even talking to anyone?
Start working.
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Aqua and Purple.
oh yeah.
Do you want to discuss things with people, or are you just going to sort of see what you can figure out? And
Yesterday talking didn't do me good. So if Aqua wants to find someone and we get some information,
Yeah, I'll go find someone and figure out what they need.
yeah, because I'm just like, I did not understand words at all yesterday. I don't know if I'm any help on this.
I had somebody explain things to me very well, but they're not here, so we'll see how things go today.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you go in, and there is a foreman you are able to identify, and she's like, "Yeah, no, any help you can give us would be great. This is going way slower than we were expecting. We can kind of show you some. What can you, what can you do with those suits there?"
I go and look at something super heavy and I just like pick it up.
Oh yeah, no, we can get some. Yeah, no, we've got some ideas.
Yeah, I just casually pick up a crate full of food and just like twirl it on my finger like a basketball.
Yeah, no, we definitely have some things you can do to help. Okay, sure. All right. Actually, let's just go ahead and do our rolls for today. Pink, let's get yours first. What approach are you using?
I am using building and repairing things.
Fair enough. Let's see.
And that's a 2.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. So we will do that scene in a minute. Purple, what'd you roll? Well, actually, first, what are you rolling?
I'm rolling for lifting heavy objects.
Okay, and is this the clearing? And actually, let me back up a little bit. We'll keep your roll just because I love the expression on your face. But the two of you are sort of doing two things. Do you want to each roll for one of the things, or do you want to each roll for each of the things?
I could. I don't.
I'm giving you the opportunity to do 2 rolls today, or just one each.
I'll do 2 rolls today.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That works for me.
All right. So first we're doing the. I assume it's
clearing the roads.
Yeah. So that's lifting heavy objects.
I got-
What did you get?
A 20.
I got a 12.
Okay.
This is for clearing the roadways.
Clearing the roadways. Yes, you clear the roadways. So
Almost too
you
well.
get working, and you get yesterday was not what you wanted, so you just both put your backs into it. And at some point, you're just like, oh, she's lifting 2 of those things that people are calling grab cars or whatever they. Anyway, I can lift 3 of those.
So we're having a competition over it now.
Yeah, you basically start having a competition over it until at one point, Purple's like, well, she's, Aqua's clearing, the guardrails off of the road to make it wider. Oh, well, I can clear the entire road, so it's just the ground here. That's clearing all of it. And pretty soon there is a absolutely clear path between there used to be buildings there, and it's nice and wide, absolutely clear, flat as a board. At one point you were using the flamethrowers on your suit to make the ground practically glassy, and it is the easiest to traverse road that anyone has ever seen. And it goes straight as an arrow right to the factory from the outer districts.
I did good.
It is great. And in case anyone at home is worried, no one was hurt. They all fled before the buildings came down.
Oh my god.
Right. So, now you're at the factory. What is your approach here?
I want to build and repair things.
All right. Aqua?
So I actually kind of want to I think I want to roll for impress. Because I just kind of want to be a bit like I'm hyped up, after our competition. I just kind of want I want to impress these factory workers. I want to show them, my skill and my strength, and I want them to know.
Well, you are, after all, the face of the Astral Commonwealth here, and you are here to impress upon them how good the Astral Commonwealth is for them. So that's that. In addition to your own personal glory, you are representative of the glory of the Commonwealth.
Yeah. So
very, very appropriate. So
right. I'll be rolling a D12 for this one.
Okay,
right.
And I will be actually. Let's go for purple. Yes.
Nice.
A purple D8.
All right.
That is not a full roll. I'm going to roll it again.
I got a 6.
Perfect.
Nice.
I got a 4.
4? Okay, that's fine. So how this plays out is you both sort of are working, especially Purple is just getting in there, and a bunch of tools come out of the fingers on her power armor and just start reprogramming stuff and tightening bolts on things, practically without effort. It just and same thing with Aqua, but she's doing it a little more showy way. But it's there. By the time you two are done and the sun is starting to go down, that factory is up and working at maximum capacity. It is working great.
And they have a nice road.
And that's the thing is they're like, wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much for all of your work. And you're like, yeah, and you should check out the road out there too that we built for you. They're like, yeah, great, let's go. Oh yes, that is certainly a road. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anytime.
We got this.
We got this. Anytime you want more roads,
Really,
we'll
really
get you more
appreciate
roads.
that. But that road should do us. Yeah, the food should be. We should be in good shape now. So no more roads are needed at this point for us anyway. Yes, thank you. All right. Okay. So you go back to the base, confident that you have made the best gosh darn road and fixed up that factory until it's at military specifications. All right, Pink, you are at the hospital. What approach are you going to take?
I was building and repairing things and rolled a 2.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry. I
That's all right.
got so caught up with the 20 that I lost track of things.
Oh, it was
All
an
right,
exciting 20.
So, yes, you get going and you do make some repairs. There, again, you're kind of hampered the way that Purple was hampered in the not really understanding what they need. So you build some wards that they can put beds in, so that's good. Or actually, excuse me, you build some wards, and you're not really sure. Their trauma treatment center is in pretty good shape by the time you're done. Their other wards not as great. And the doctor said, "Thank you for building this. Where were you actually going to put beds in the rooms?" And you're like, "What? Why would we need beds?" And they're like, "For people to lie in. Well, they could just lie in their their sleeping pods or on the floor. That's fine, right? We never had beds in the trenches. Why would anyone need beds?" Oh, okay. Thanks. These are going to help. Really, thanks. So you're again confident that you've done good, but it's you don't think you really showed them the true astral commonwealth way.
Yeah, like it's a building they can use.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good, but it doesn't need to, and they can figure out how to sleep on the floor if that works for them.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think you're right. They could respect the Commonwealth a little bit more.
Yeah. All right. So you end up back at base for your evening debrief. Go ahead and discuss.
So
I can't believe you lifted more than me today. Ugh.
I had to show off. Look, that road looks so good.
You're right, it does.
They were speechless. Speechless. I think
You're right. You're right. But like, was this just payback for me beating your record yesterday, or something?
I just got a little into it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little too into it, but it was fun.
Yeah, but I think they were really impressed with us. I think they were really, really
that
impressed
factory
with us.
looks absolutely great. By the way, Pink, factory to food to road, they're all set.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. I made some more walls at the hospital. I fixed some of those. They didn't seem as impressed. I don't know why. I think I did a perfectly fine job. I also didn't really talk to anyone while I was working because I didn't want any more of that. I'm still not sure about this whole air stabbing people from the inside, but I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to set fire to the air and to protect them. So I just went with the putting up walls.
That's a smart idea. So good. They have more walls. Walls are good. And they have more food access. Gotta love that.
All right. Content with your day's worth of work, you go to sleep for the night, or what passes for sleep for you. And then you wake up in the morning, and you're woken up actually by some urgent calls Let's see. I believe Aqua, you're contacted by Reverend Sabina, and let's see, Pink, you're contacted by let's say Corporal Chandra, who were the people you met, and both of them are sort of saying, so there are some negotiations going on, and it would be really good if we had a representative of the Commonwealth present for these, because they're not going well.
Who's this that's talking to us right now? I'm sorry.
So you're being contacted by Reverend Sabina,
Okay.
who was your contact about the food stuff.
Mhm.
And Pink is being contacted by Corporal Chandra, who was her contact about the everything.
The enforcers.
Yeah, the enforcers. And they're both basically saying the same thing, which is there are these negotiations going on. Things are getting a little out of hand. We're worried there may be violence. It would really be nice if one of you could come help.
Okay.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Okay.
The people in charge are both contacting us and letting us know we need help. Let's go help them.
Yeah, let's go help. Totally.
Okay.
Do I get any call?
The call from Chandra came to both of you.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, yeah, we'll say that was just a group call.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's not like you were being excluded. Sorry to say that.
No, I was just trying to clarify. Wait, did Purple not get a message and is sound asleep?
No.
No. We let them know.
Purple didn't get woken up. So anyway, but this is time after those calls. You have your morning briefing, so you can decide on your missions for the day. What would you like to do? Or discuss amongst yourselves.
I kind of just want to go see what the Enforcers Liaison needs from us and why she's calling.
I'm gonna go talk to Sabina, because they wanted help from me, and I like helping them. Also, they're pretty cute, so.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
All right. So, let's start with Purple. What are you going to do for the day?
I am going to go alongside with Pink and just check it out too. 2 is better than 1, and if this is going where I think it's going out of character, it's going to be entertaining.
Okay, great. So you two head back over to the Enforcer compound, and they again take you around back where you meet up with Chandra. They say, look, so we're in negotiations with the church about, well, they just won't let us do our job about these regulations that are clearly defined in Mamut chapter 7, verse 23 of the holy texts that say that double parking is enforceable with capital punishment. And I'm sorry, anyway, the bleeding hearts over at the church are just won't agree to the agreement that we're putting forward, and quite frankly, Commander Tang I think he's just getting ready to start shooting them. So it would really help if at least one of you 3 could be over there and make sure that people don't come to blows, or if you can, help tell them what the Astral Commonwealth wants. Represent the Astral Commonwealth. According to the bylaws, of the Planetary Council, the Astral Commonwealth has a right to a seat at any negotiating table, and she starts rattling, or sorry, they start rattling off, all these rules and regulations, which are, of course, coming up on your screen anyway, on your heads-up display anyway. So yes, if at least one of you could go over and do that, we'd be.
We actually
really
we actually have one at the church right now, but we will relay this over to them.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the meeting is at a neutral location. It's the old governor's building, back when we had a governor. Anyway, that's where the negotiations are happening.
I'm a little confused, I have to admit here,
Okay.
because following orders is good and important.
Uh-huh.
I am just trying to figure out why double parking is a capital offense.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's not the only thing in the contract. That's just the most important thing.
I can widen the streets.
Well,
yeah, they're good at that.
No, we heard about what you did yesterday, and while that would be great, there's really some of the buildings alongside the roads are buildings we need.
Okay, all right, yeah, that.
Really do that. So when people double park, they block roads for emergency vehicles, for troops going through, and also it's one of the most ancient sins in that we have in our holy text. So, but it's not just the double parking; it's the obviously parking in a handicap stall is death without trial.
Well, yeah.
But unless you have a placard or something, but it's other minor infractions. Ever since the religious schism over exceeding the speed limit by more than 5%, there's just been no talking to them.
Okay, it's this does sound like it's an internal matter here for you to sort out, but if you need me to, I can go to the governor's mansion and make sure everyone is nice with their talking and uses their words and not their guns.
I'd appreciate that. By the way, Purple, everything she said just went over your head. It was like, and then the thing and the plate. What's a handicap spot? And
double parking? Like there's two cars on top of each other?
Yes.
Or that's what it must be. Maybe.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, we'd really appreciate it if you could help with that. All right. Meanwhile, over with Aqua, the Reverend meets you and says, "Thank goodness you've come. We think that insane commander of theirs is just going to start shooting people."
That's not good. No, shooting people should only be done when an official firearms flag has been waved.
Yes, absolutely.
But and that should only be done in wartime.
Right, exactly, yes. Although, of course, enforcement of the sacred text is, occasionally... Anyway, no, that's not important. What we need is just a representative of the Astral Commonwealth present, just to keep things calm and, to make sure the negotiation goes smoothly. And, if the Astral Commonwealth took a seat at the negotiating table, that would be really helpful. That way, it would. I'm sure the opinion of the Commonwealth is perfectly in keeping with what the church wants. They have clear heads. I'm sure it would be that would be a big help. So can you do that?
Yeah. I'll help wherever I can.
Okay.
I don't think that guy should be doing anything with guns right now. So.
Oh, all right. I agree. Yes. All right. And it's about this time that you get the communication from Purple and Pink, basically on their end of the conversation, or their conversation. So.
And I relay my end back.
Okay.
And then
so
I just go, wait, they both are afraid of each other shooting, but they don't want to shoot?
Actually, they both are concerned that Commander Ting specifically is going to start shooting people.
Yeah.
But because yes. By the way,
Okay.
the two adjuncts you've been talking to have scurried off to do other things. So you can feel free to discuss at your leisure.
So I guess I will go to the negotiation spot.
That was my plan too. I think we're all agreed that we don't want Tang shooting anyone.
No,
Mm-mm.
that's bad. Whatever bad is, I think. It's not good. That's what it is. Shooting is never good unless wartime.
Yeah, and only when they're bad people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least
we're told they're bad.
When we're told they're bad.
Yeah.
But that means they're bad because they tell us they're bad. So.
Yeah, and the war is over. These are all civilians, so they're not bad.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
don't get shot by us or anyone.
Nope.
All right. So, what are your plans for the day?
Can somebody explain to me what double parking is?
It involves
like when you try and fit like 2 hot dogs in the same bun.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of like that.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Oh, okay. So they just don't want overloaded hot dog buns. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Good enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry.
It's absolutely fine. That is the appropriate reaction. Okay. Let me go around the table and see what everyone's plans are for the day. Let's start with Pink. What is your plan?
My plan is to go to this negotiation and basically just kind of be an imposing presence so that Tang knows if they resort to violence, it's going to end badly for them.
Okay.
So my approach to that would be, I think, impressing civilians.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go around the table on this one just to make sure everyone can agrees on.
Yeah, I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Purple, what's your plan for the day?
Going along with them, though Purple still only vaguely understands what's going on, especially when it comes to the cars. That probably, I also agree that impressing civilians alongside just to like keep them a little bit calm is probably the best thing. I would say being nice, but being nice and being impressive is kind of a different way to like persuade them. So I'd rather be impressive as well.
Okay.
If I'm not on the inside with them, at least be on the outside, keeping like making sure everything's good and doesn't go.
I'll describe the scene, but I think everyone's gonna be able to fit inside.
Okay.
Aqua, what's your plan for the day?
I want to go to make sure nobody gets hurt, especially the bishop.
Okay.
So basically, like I want my approach to be protective. So
okay.
I want to make sure nobody nobody around gets hurt by anyone.
Okay, I think that covers pretty much all the good. Yeah, that covers things pretty well, I think. So what happens? And we'll roll for this stuff in a minute, but I'm going to set the scene a bit. The three of you march on up to the old governor's mansion, and it's not as impressive as the church, but so you kind of have to bend over to fit in through the front doors. But you can stand up straight, and once you're inside, and once you do, basically, the as the first of you walks in, the room goes silent, and everyone just stares. And then the second one of you comes in, and a few people start to look nervous. And then the third one goes in, and people are just blatantly praying at this point. And you walk up, and there's it's a very large room with a big table in the center of it. The bishop is at one end, and someone you're assuming must be Commander Tang in a full, Banana Republic uniform that looks vaguely like the what the other members of the Enforcers were wearing, but just covered in ribbons and service commendations and so on and so forth. Is at the other end, and just before you walked in, you could hear him just yelling and just pounding his fist on the table, and then you walked in, and that stopped immediately. He does turn to the three of you though and says, "What's the meaning of this interruption?"
I am going to lean down to Commander Tang and say, we're here on behalf of the Commonwealth to ensure these negotiations go calmly and peacefully.
So, you're claiming the seat of the Commonwealth at the table? You?
I look at the rest of my team like, am I? Or send that to communication internally. So,
And Purple just speaks up like, I don't think per se we are complete representative, but we are here to make sure that things are good, and we made sure things were good after the attack. So we just want to uphold some end of making sure things are fine, and you don't go off the deep end in one way or the other to, where things go haywire again.
And actually, as Purple says that, a little notification pops up in each of your heads-up displays that says, "Notice you are effectively the authority of the Astral Commonwealth as represented on this planet." in the views of the Commonwealth.
I take that back. I take only some of that back. We are representative of the Commonwealth.
Yep. And we're here to make sure no one does anything stupid.
So, all right. And the bishop honestly looks up from the pile of paper she's been writing and correcting things on. It says, "Look, they're the Commonwealth. They stop the war. They have a seat at the table by both morally, ethically, and contractually. So we should find a very large chair for one of them to sit in."
We could also sit on the floor. We have no issue.
Yeah. Honestly, sitting
right.
I bet sitting on the floor, we'd still be chest over the table. So
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, all right. Well, I suppose this is how it has to be. We got to do this. It's in the holy texts and in the contracts and everything. So, all right. Well, let's get to it. All right. One other thing about this room is that let's see. It's Purple and Aqua both notice it is filled with gorgeous murals of the history of Venice, and the various people who've settled in various places. It starts off with a very agrarian scene, and by the end of it is the high-tech, beautiful world that it was about 100 or 200 years ago before it fell into decline. Pink, you see a lot of splotchy paint all over the walls that just does not look good. Whoever painted that, what did they do? Just fling paintbrushes at the wall? So, anyway, let's go ahead and do our rolls now. Let's start with Aqua this time.
Okay.
We'll start with Elliot. I always put Purple in the middle. So let's start with Purple this time.
Okay.
And you are you're impressing the civilians.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yep. Well, I got a 10.
10. All right. All right. We will handle that. I'm going to handle all of them together since you're all together this time.
Makes sense.
Pink, let's do your roll.
I am also trying to impress civilians.
Okay.
Got a 4.
Were you impressing civilians or being nice to civilians?
I was impressing.
Okay. And you got a 4, you say?
Yep.
All right. And then, Aqua, you were protecting the civilians.
6.
6. Perfect.
Oh, excellent.
The citizens could not be more protected at this moment. And even on a sort of higher level where the two people negotiating for the safety and security of the people are very aware that there are 3 heavily armored space marines standing watching everything they do. So they're on their best behavior today. As for impressing the civilians, they are very impressed. They let's see. It was So Pink, you do impress everyone, but a couple of times you lean over and are like, what's the deal with all the paint splotches? Didn't anyone really do that? And they're like, what are you talking about? The mural? What's a mural? And goes on like that for a bit. And so they're not as impressed maybe with you. But Purple, you are standing there, you are armed, and you are at attention, and you are just aware of everything that's going on. You are the very model of a space marine, of an astral Commonwealth space marine, and they're like, that is why don't we have them instead of the enforcers? Because these guys, they actually know what they're doing, and so the collateral damage from your being so good at impressing them is that they actually lose some faith in their planetary police and enforcers.
We're that cool.
They're that good. Why don't we have them? After the war stopped, they haven't shot anyone yet.
It's true.
So, there are a couple of times during the negotiations. So, which of the 3 of you is actually seated at the table? Or are you all just in positions around the table?
We're all in positions around the table.
Take a seat at the table to participate in the negotiations.
I was gonna say, I think I just saw us all sitting
same.
at the table because you said a very long
all
table.
Sit down. Okay. Do any of you participate in the negotiations as they go by, other than just standing there and looking impassive? Because at some point they actually do and so what's the Commonwealth's opinion on this?
I guess if no one else does, then I probably will chime in.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
I've probably been the most well-spoken of this group so far.
You certainly seem to have had the most success getting information from people and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, purple is
Um,
not there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm giving you the option to make a roll using any approach you want to influence the negotiations.
I think.
And you don't have to make a roll. You can basically choose to have your input to the negotiations be completely neutral, but you can use any approach you want to try and say speed them up or favor one side over the other or something like that. As long as the approach makes sense, I'm fine with it.
I'm thinking using building and repairing things, because my approach being because there's obviously a social rift here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think my idea would be to try and attempt to use my words to repair that rift.
Excellent. I like it. And so, to be just so for my own knowledge, you're trying to repair the rift between the two groups. You are not necessarily trying to sway the negotiations to say, put aside differences to repair the infrastructure first, or that kind of thing. You're merely trying to get the two sides to work together.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll that.
A 5.
Perfect. By the end of the day, they are working much better together. Commander Ting has calmed down, and basically, it seems to an outside observer, it would seem like he's realized that blatant displays of intimidation are no longer going to work. So,
especially not when there's 3 giant
exactly
Space Marines at the table.
He's like, okay, maybe we should just actually get some work done instead of the posturing and all that. And the bishop is just, oh, thank God, we can finally, maybe I'll let some of the stuff go, but we can just finally start working together. We're of the same church, there was a schism, but we still believe in the same things. And I got so much work to do once I get back to the church. Let's try and get this going. And at the end of the day, when the negotiations are called off for the night, you head back. And actually, before you leave, both Sabina and Chandra come up to you and say, "Thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate it. The things have been so bogged down for so long. Is there anything we can do to make to help you out? We don't have much, but if either of us can do." Also, I would say between the three of you, you figure out these two are the back channel between the two organizations. It is very clear that they are friends at the very least. So, but they say, is there anything we can get you? Anything we can do to make your stay here better? And by the way, I'm assuming you're all just standing around like, what? People are offering us? This doesn't.
Yeah, we're a little like.
I'm.
No, we do the nice.
I'm debating internally whether or not this is gonna sound really stupid, but I'm debating internally whether or not I want to flirt with Sabine.
Absolutely.
Please,
have some. So.
So I go up to Sabine and I extend my hand. I said, "Well, maybe you could treat me to maybe a night of revelry around here as a bit of a celebration."
They blush a little bit and say, certainly, I'd love to show you around our city. I know just the place we could go. And
I
actually,
turn around and I wink at Purple.
I just give a thumbs up.
and Sandra is just grinning at Sabine. So, all right. Well, why don't we go get some dinner then? And she basically takes your hand and leads you out the door. And Chandra's just got this giant goofy grin on her face. She's like, is there anything we can get for either of you then?
Well, since she mentioned dinner, is there a place around here to get some better food than our rations?
Yeah, we're
Like
kind
our
of
rations are
bored.
good and they help us do our stuff, but some variety would be nice if we're here
Sure,
for a week.
I know a place where some people have actually managed to, and you're not going to believe this, they're actually growing their own food in the ground.
What?
Yeah. It's
But
not. It's so different than the stuff that they grow. So different than the yeast we normally get. They flavor the yeast into all these things, and I thought they were just, originally they were just like, names for the flavors. Turns out they were actually things at one point that grew.
really?
Yeah,
That is amazing.
isn't it?
This I gotta see.
Yeah. All right, let's go. And
Let's do it.
they lead you off and take you to basically a courtyard that's covered with basically a giant open air tent, just to keep the rain off, and you can see a patch, not unlike your road, that has been cleared of all the old mechanical equipment, and there's dirt there, and you've seen dirt, you've fought in dirt, and you vaguely recall fighting through some like farm fields, and you fought through forests and stuff, but you've never thought to eat any of it. And there are things growing there, and they the host is just terrified, but says, "Hello, Chandra. What can I do for you and your friends? Your very large, well-armored friends?" And Chandra's like, "Well, we were hoping for dinner for 3. I don't know if we have that much food, but we'll give it a go. Fortunately, there's, I'm just going to close the restaurant for the night, and it just so you 3 can have the place all to yourself."
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you.
Oh, no, my pleasure. Anything for the liberators of Venice. Let me go alert the chef, and you 3 have a very pleasant evening eating food that was grown in dirt, and it's like nothing you've ever tried before. Your suits instantly like scan it. It's like not poison, probably not poison, and so on. And it is a unique experience. Whereas, go ahead.
I think also after this, as an aside, Purple's gonna try to eat some regular dirt and try to understand. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Very nice. I approve.
Anyway, continue.
Yes. All right. Meanwhile, Aqua, you've gone off with Sabina, and she's basically giving you a tour of the of some of the nicer places in the city. There is a art gallery that survived miraculously unscathed, and she tells you about how the citizens hid away a bunch of the art, and uh, basically kept it from being destroyed in case the museum fell. But it's now been restored since your heroic works. And she takes you to to her favorite little food vendor cart, and you're like, you pick up this tiny little skewer in your hand, and you're like, that was a bite of something. Yes, that was actually very good. And everyone laughs, and you actually have quite a lovely evening of her just giving you a tour through the city. How much are you planning on flirting with her this evening?
As often as I can.
Okay, fair enough. All right, and she seems receptive to it. Although, she'll flirt back on occasion. So, you end up back in your compound. I'm going to skip through the debrief tonight just because you were all there for most of it. If that's okay with you, and also it's 2:20 now, so I know people want to get going. So let's go ahead and start with you. Basically keep your memories, and they're like, yes, no, I had a great time, better than yours, and then go to bed. And so we start the morning of day 4. What are your plans?
Let's see.
What else was there that needed doing? I don't remember.
So let's see. You do know from both Sabine and Chandra that they would like at least one of you to stay at the negotiations to make sure they go smoothly, if that's possible.
Yeah.
There's more just sort of general repair work. The hospital still isn't at 100%. There's the one of your heads-up displays does say it does pop up with some military PDA articles about impressing the civilians in various ways to make sure that they are, happy that they are members of the Astral Commonwealth. Let's see. Those are some of the big things that I can remember. I probably mentioned others. Chat, if I've forgotten anything, or if you have any ideas, please don't hesitate to remind me.
Well, I suppose one of us should probably stay at the table.
I will, because they were impressed with me. I think with the impression, I don't, unless there's negotiation stuff going on, if they just need a person to view and look impressive and be like, yes, that is that military thing, and they may need to keep their chill, I'd have Purple do that, because they were very, very the civilians loved that. That's all I got. But
Well,
if that's what you want to do today, go right for it.
all right. Ping, what are your plans? Oh, sorry.
All
right, let's Pink first.
Okay.
Yeah, I had remembered them saying something about schools also needing repairs.
Yes, schools. Yes.
So I am going to go look into that. And I think I'm going to see how I can help out there, find educational facilities that need help.
The teenagers that I talked to yesterday seemed happy that they were broken, though. So
Yeah. Speaking of, well, you haven't seen those teenagers since, but I will say there have been some protests once that people found out about the subliminal messages that were coming across the data streams. People are upset. So if you want to investigate, if anyone wants to investigate that, see what they want to do about that, that is also an option.
Actually, yeah, if I hear about that, I think I'm going to look into that and see what the protesters are going on, making sure no one's getting hurt. in
Okay.
those either by themselves or the enforcers or anything.
Okay, great. Aqua?
Well, I think something was said about people not being happy that and needing to be not sad.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, that's yes. Which, well, it's more that that they need to be that they are not currently happy, which or they actually use the word sad, which is like, yeah, what? I still don't get it. But there are articles in your Militarypedia that are coming up. It's like ways to make the civilians happier and ways to impress upon them the glory of the Astral Commonwealth and so on and so forth. And there are a few options in there. There's the always popular military parade. There's the going out and doing good works. There's speaking with the civilians and so on and so it goes on and on and on like that for a while.
I think I'll go see about talking to someone about maybe hosting a victory parade.
All right, sounds
Just
good.
just to raise the spirits of the general population.
Would you say somebody's father is going to take them into the city?
Hey, they have a nice wide road to have that parade on now, though.
Yes, let's go with that. Let's go with that part of it. All right. So, Purple, what approach are you taking today at the negotiations?
So at the negotiations, I definitely think with the negotiations, they did impress the civilians yesterday, so I don't think that's too bad. There doesn't have to do anything with lifting heavy objects, so maybe just gathering, either being nice to civilians or gathering information.
Either one is perfectly reasonable. So which one
Okay.
do you want?
I'll be nice
it would further your own personal knowledge to gather information about this stuff, because a lot of it is grab car regulations.
Yeah. I'm gonna, gather some information. Oh, I got a 5.
5, excellent. All right, we'll go on to that in a second. Aqua, what approach are you taking today?
Well, I can't hold the parade until I have more information about, how to get it set up and, where to host it and things like that. So I'm going to gather information maybe from, like the whatever committee it is that I would have to talk to about getting a victory parade up and running within the next couple days.
Right. There is actually technically a planetary government, but they are just completely sidelined and are basically just the bureaucracy making sure things get done as well as they can. But there's no clear leader there, and clearly they're just entirely sidelined by the two factions that are at the negotiating table right now. So they're just they don't even have a seat at the negotiating table. That's how feckless they are. But on the other hand, someone has to make sure the water keeps running and power keeps going. So they will be happy to help you with the parade. And I will also note at this point, you had to ask around a bit before anyone even mentioned them. That's how irrelevant they've been. So
should I roll gathering information here or holding parades?
I would say this is gathering information at this point. That's what it sounds like to me.
6.
Yay! Oh, wow. Okay. And Pink, what is your approach for the day?
I am going to seek out where the civilians are protesting. And I just want to make sure that the civilians' concerns are being heard.
Okay.
And that they don't feel completely left out. So I am going to go be nice to the civilians.
Great. Okay.
That's a 7.
7. Okay, that's fine. Only minor collateral there.
Yeah.
So, let's start off with Purple. So, you are sitting at this negotiating table all day, and it's people spouting words, and none of it's making sense, and just like diagram after diagram and charts and stuff are popping up on your heads-up display, and it's just, I mean, you've been, back in training, you were in parade rest for 3 days straight, and it was not as boring as this. And eventually, you just start looking at the diagrams, and things start clicking a little bit. That, I mean, well, first of all, you figure out that grav cars can only go about a foot off the ground, unlike what you previously thought, which is, that they could just keep going up. And you were like, why are they stuck to this surface? So that clears a lot of things up, honestly. And you actually, make a good point at one point. You're like, well, if you have these parking garages and they have to drive up, why not just have them so that they just raise you up to the right level instead of having to drive around in circles around it and all that? That's just not good military tactics like that. So, and they're like, I hadn't thought of it that way. So yeah, you have a very good day, and you actually kind of like, oh yeah, maybe someone would actually want to own one of those things. Aqua, you are gathering. You go to the old city government, which is still somehow in charge of issuing parades for permits and the regulations and all that, which had not been in your militarypedia before. So you go and you talk to a gentleman named Bill. And Bill is just, oh my God, someone, first of all, wow. Second, you want to talk with me? And no, not him. Sorry, I read the chat. And he's like, wow, you want to talk with, no one ever comes. Okay, yeah, no, parade. I can, and just like, here's a book on all the regulations. It's this chapter right here, and your suit just scans it in as you. Okay, anything else I need to know? Well, if you want to, there's this one over here that has some historical parades that we've thrown and some of the things that they've done. And within a relatively short time, you have everything one could possibly need to know to throw a parade on this planet. You are confident that you could throw a parade anywhere on this planet and be perfectly within regulations down to the nanometer. So, well done there. Pink, you go to the protests, and they're pretty. So it's a fairly large protest, mostly of younger people. There are a bunch of them holding signs, some of which are just simply, stop trying to indoctrinate our brains, and others are just, you don't understand them. They seem to be trying to make a point, but it doesn't. I mean, it's just kind of a blur on your visual processors on your suit, as far as you can tell. But there are others, with more militant signs but they seem to be kind of at the outskirts, and people don't seem to be taking them very seriously. And a chant goes up of, "What do we want? No more subliminal messages. When do we want it? Whenever they tell us to." And you show up, and people are a little bit concerned at first, but then you're just there keeping the peace, and they're kind of like, okay, that's fine. And some of the people holding the more militant signs start uh, moving closer to you and just like, yeah, see, the Commonwealth is on our side. This is what we need. This is what we're talking about. And people are like, and actually the excitement at the protest is even higher than you thought it could possibly be. So clearly you're doing a great job with this protest, keeping everyone safe and well protected. There are some enforcers around the edges who are armed in riot gear and all that, and they, basically before you could sort of see, they were kind of forming up into ranks, which is of course good standard military procedure. And then you showed up and they're like, clearly once you showed up they realized they didn't have to do anything, so they kind of went and discussed amongst themselves and backed off a little bit to the edges, and and the crowd just cheered at that. And so you've done a great job of keeping these people safe.
Oh, good.
The collateral damage, of course, being that now they're a little more enthusiastic than they were about this whole, hey, maybe we should have a revolution thing. Or at the very least, maybe we should be a little more militant. So not too bad, but just it's the tension, that's revved up a little bit.
Okay.
And that is the end of day 4. You go back to your compound and have a little debrief.
So I learned about cars. And I came up with an idea where they just basically get lifted to different sections because they're worried about double parking. Why not just use the empty buildings they already had? Mm-hmm. So they like that. So I think I did good.
Excellent. So I went to a protest, and apparently some of the civilians here aren't happy about the enforcers' subliminal messaging. But they appreciated being heard. They like that we're here, which is good. They had some confusing signs, some that made sense, and some that I'm not sure. I don't know what AEAB means, but something about the enforcers. They are on our side. They like us. The enforcers maybe seemed a little weary of me, but the rest of them liked us.
That sounds right. Good.
I found it took me a while, but I found the actual government office, not the enforcers or the church, the actual government. Don't know why they're not at the table, but they gave me a book on how to throw a parade here. So we can have maybe a victory parade just to, maybe make people happy again.
Boost the morale.
Yeah, to make them not happy.
Not happy. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you head to sleep for the night, wake up on another beautiful day on the world of Venice in Rune City. The sun is shining. It's a gorgeous day. What do you want to do?
I think I'm gonna go start maybe advertising.
Okay.
try and get people to like design floats. Maybe if we could get some music, people involved.
Yeah. Do they still need another person at that table, by the way? Or was that a one-day thing?
I mean, they would prefer to have someone there, but you get the impression that things are pretty stabilized. So if you weren't there, it wouldn't be the worst. It wouldn't be terrible.
Okay.
So you don't have to do that, but if you want to, it's an available option.
I think we're all on. Are we on the train of we want to try to get ready for this parade thing?
I mean, that's definitely where I'm at. But
Okay.
y'all can do whatever you want to help out in other places.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like Aqua has the parade under control. That's the
Yeah.
impression I get.
Under control.
I am.
Rolls a d6.
I got sidetracked yesterday. I am gonna go follow up on the schools and see what they need for repairs. I think I got the impression at the protest yesterday that people knowing more about what's going on is going to let them help themselves, and so I am all in on making sure they have the education to do that.
Okay.
Then I'm not too sure actually, because if what other thing was needed any assistance, or are we pretty covered and I could learn more at the table?
We need do they need help implementing the ideas that you came up with yesterday?
You know what? Actually, yeah. What if I surveyed the areas that they were talking about and had went around with one of the people, if pull one of the other people aside and kind of just be like, oh, so if you do this, what if you use this building, and just kind of go down the streets and stuff and be like, oh, well, if you use this garage here, or trying to I guess be nice to them, but also try to be being helpful to see that this is actually possible.
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
So you're going to go survey the area and basically try and find more ways to help out the population?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Well, why don't we start with that?
Okay.
So your approach would be gathering information then?
Yeah, I'll do another gathering information.
Okay.
6.
Nice. And Pink, you were. I'm sorry, my brain has just left the building. Were you?
I was gonna go work on school repair.
Yeah, that's right. School repair. Yes.
Yep.
So that you're going to do building and repairing things?
I am.
Okay.
With an 8.
An 8. Excellent. And Aqua, you are going to do more work on your parade. What's your approach on this again?
I guess holding parade's the best thing. I mean, okay. Well, actually, the idea is to advertise to get people involved in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking to roll impress to try and get people enthusiastic about this and maybe working on their floats and
and
stuff like that. So I'm gonna roll impressing.
Yep, that works.
Five.
Excellent. All right. So, let's start there then. People are surprisingly on board. And actually, your date with Sabina kind of showed you that, yes, there are a lot of beautiful things in the city, but there's, with the war that just happened, there's not a lot to do. So you're like, hey, this is something we can all do, and it will, bring about, patriotism in on Venice, and for the Astral Commonwealth, and it's going to be something we can all do for our community. And everyone's like, yeah, no, that sounds great. Yeah, that's a great idea. And you encourage the heck out of people, and they start working on floats and basically getting things ready for that. There are a couple of grab cars decked out with, well, what would be tissue paper, but it's kind of charred in places. But they're doing their best. All right, talking about the schools. The schools you build. So you get some of the people you were working with on the hospital to come help you, or at least you talk to them and they're like, oh yeah, no, there's some construction crews here, and am I remember right that you were the one who also was working on the communication systems?
Yes.
Yeah. So you talk, and actually, yeah, you talk with Scruffy and say, hey, I need to rebuild these schools. Do you know where I can get some supplies? And Scruffy's like, oh yeah, no, that's a good idea. I'll help out. And between you and Scruffy, you get things coordinated, and some very nice schools are built. The main university is completely restored by the end of the day. That's how good you were. Now, granted, partially because Scruffy was there, some of the indoctrination tapes have slightly different messages now. There's a little bit more. Surprisingly, there are more books in the library now about Venice's proud history of rising up in rebellion against oppressive regimes.
I like to imagine the subliminal messaging is now just be gay, do crime.
Yes.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I love it.
Turns out this world Scruffy is a bit of a rabble rouser. So
I like Scruffy.
Oh yeah,
and then so yes, so well done there. And then I'm brain farting again. You were you were getting information on further things to do in the town, and yes, you do find some things, and you find basically a lot of kind of little things that would normally go under the radar, like this one small corner of this district, their water filter was in disrepair, and so they were getting dirty water. Another one, it was, this girder fell down and is blocking this road, which, while not the most vital road in the world, it would really help if get moved out of the way. And honestly, I'm just gonna say, by the end of the day, you've cleared a lot of these smaller projects out of the way, because you were there. Why put it on a list when you can just do it? And you've made a lot of people's lives better. So, well done. You rendezvous back at the base for the evening's debrief. Do you have anything to discuss, or?
I'm gonna let him know, like, yeah, the university's back up and running again. Like, I gotta tell you, Scruffy is a lifesaver. She has just been the best every time I've worked with her.
I like her. I haven't met her, but I like her.
From what I've heard, definitely, yeah.
Aqua, how'd your day go?
I think I got a lot of people on board. They all seem really, really excited. They started putting floats together using some old grav cars.
Nice.
Excellent.
I got a lot of small projects done just by walking around. It's great, actually. So they seem to be in pretty decent shape so far, and
That's good.
yeah.
clean city for the parade will be nice.
Oh yeah, especially some had like bad water, so
Oh, you can't have people dehydrated during a parade. That's
no,
a no-no.
Yeah, definitely.
thirst does not do well in parade, especially in the heat.
Nope.
Okay.
Guess it depends on the kind of thirst, but
Well,
So I'm just going to let you know that it's 2:50 now, and I know that folks were interested in getting out. Do we want to compress things down a little bit, or are you
Yeah.
good for doing the last 2 days in regular time, or as we have been? Do we want, or why don't we say that it turns out that your superiors are going to arrive on the morning of the 7th, the
Okay.
7th day instead of in the evening. So you really only have the 6th day left to do things. So the morning of the 6th day arrives. Why don't we? What would you like to do?
I want to help with the parade stuff, just like do a holding parades role, and make sure things go as good as we have that planned. Because today is parade day, right?
Well, that's up to you. You can either have it set up so that the parade is there to greet your superiors, and you just do final preparations today, or you can have it today so everyone is all excited and happy when your commanders arrive.
Down for whatever.
I think having it there to greet our superiors would be very nice because it would be a way for us to kind of show off our success to our superiors. Maybe they could promote us.
Yeah. I like that.
Maybe they'll promote us to captain squad do good.
All right.
I am thinking I want to sit on the last day of negotiations before our superiors get back, just to make sure everything goes smoothly.
Yeah, that's smart.
Also, the last couple days between the protest and the school, I want to have some input there to make sure that the civilians' interests are being protected, and it's not just the enforcers in the church making up all the rules.
I will note that the protests are happening again today, and if anything, they're bigger than they were before.
Ooh,
So,
okay.
So if anyone wants to change their plans, they can do that. Otherwise, I think we're ready to start making some rolls.
Yeah.
All right.
I am stuck on which I'm more concerned about between the negotiations and the protests.
Maybe going
if
to
anything,
the negotiations to help out the protesters, like give the protesters a voice in the negotiations. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
if you guys want someone at the table again, I can go back. Like yesterday was, like a day off, but I could go back as well. Like just throwing it out there. I could do that. It's fine.
If you're okay doing that, then I'll go cover the protests to make sure those.
Yeah, let's just split it up
safe.
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And Aqua, you're doing more parade prep, just making sure all the ducks are in a row and all of that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Why don't you make your roll first then? What's your approach? Are you doing this as... So actually, here's my question. I'll give you the option. Do you want to do the final holding parades roll now to determine how it's going to go tomorrow?
I was thinking doing that as the roll on the day of, and then kind of doing other rolls for like the prep now. So I guess I'll ask you, what needs the most help to make sure this goes as smooth as possible? Because that might determine which approach I take.
Well, quite frankly, checking the route is never a bad idea. Making sure it's clear of anything that could interfere, like making sure the protests don't bleed onto the route. Making sure that they're clear of, ironically, that they're clear of any cars that are parked in the roadway that would block the route.
Any double parked cars?
Exactly. and so that's always an important task.
I think
so the parade
maybe what
manual-
I'll do is I think I'll take a being nice role and just do like general little help to
making
each area.
sure, yeah,
Like
okay,
basically, if someone needs help with their float, or if a band is having trouble deciding which song they want to play, you know,
right.
do like little things, and I think that all falls under the umbrella of being nice to civilians.
I think so too. And then also, you're both the church and the enforcers do want to have units in the parade, so making sure that they're play nice with each other also I think falls under that umbrella.
Yes.
All right,
So,
let's see what you roll.
an 8.
All right. Okay, and then so Purple, the meeting.
Yes.
What is your approach today?
I think again, just making sure everybody's still being pretty good between each other. So protect citizens just in the turn of like, well, I get
Protecting civilians, but like in an indirect way, like making sure that
like indirectly.
So
it
are you
making
bring
sure
in
that like
some-
the regular civilians are protected within the negotiations.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring in the protests and the protesters' point of view, the way Pink was talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that will fit under the protecting
Yeah.
civilians.
5.
5. Oh my God, you guys are rolling amazing.
I just had to get some disasters out in the first few
Yeah.
rounds.
Oh, no. That wasn't a disaster. That was a competition.
And
True.
to be honest, that was success. That was the most possible success you could have possibly had.
It's true.
Pink, and what is your approach today?
With the protests getting bigger, I just want to make sure everyone there is safe, so I am going to roll a protecting civilians.
Okay.
14.
Okay.
Oh,
I didn't realize you assigned a
that's-
20 to that.
I did. I want our civilians to be very safe, even if there is dire collateral.
She is very enthusiastic about protecting civilians.
Yes.
Very, very enthusiastic. All right, we'll get to that in a minute. I think for the viewers at home, that is success with dire collateral damage. So, let's start with the parade. Everything is pretty much on. Everything's going well. People are really getting into making their floats. There wasn't really a theme to the parade. It was just sort of a, hey, let's put on a show kind of thing. And you're noticing that a lot of the floats are going along the same themes as you've been seeing in the protests of citizens of Rune City for not having mind control used on us, and with big flowers and things all over it, and you're like, oh yeah, no, this that's a really good song. You know what it would be great as? Like a military march, because everyone loves military marches. Just something that people can move their feet to, and so on. So yes, everyone's like, yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, something really militaristic that really unites the people for all sorts of reasons.
Uh-oh.
So they are very enthusiastic, and it's going to be a fantastic parade. You are certain of it. Okay, the negotiations are going great, and there are a few times during it where like aides come in and whisper things to the two people in charge, and they look a little nervous, and they kind of look over at you, and you're like, no, everything's fine. We've got this. And they're like, okay, and they continue negotiating away. And honestly, by the end of the day, it's the agreement's pretty much ready to be signed. So they're just going to do the signing ceremony when the official your commanding officers and the diplomats arrive, just to make sure that everything's nice and official. But yes, the negotiations are concluded successfully, and you've made sure to have extra protections in there for the citizens.
Good.
Excellent.
At the protest, they're just getting bigger and bigger, and basically you start off kind of at the edge of it, just trying to make sure everything's going smoothly, and by the end of it, you're not even really sure how, but you're kind of swept into the middle of the field of the big square where everyone's protesting, and everyone's cheering you and telling you how great you are, and they're also saying, and see, the Astral Commonwealth is on our side, and they'll protect us against the bullies and thugs that have been ruling this world for far too long. And yeah, and it goes on like that for a while, and there's more and more enthusiasm, and it's like, and we're gonna take our world back. And so these people are very enthusiastic about rebuilding their world, clearly, and you have inspired such patriotism and fervor in them that you're amazing. I mean, this could not have gone better, clearly. They are absolutely prepared to help rebuild this world in the way that the people that you are protecting absolutely want. And so you end up, for your last evening, as far as you know, on Vanis. Enjoy your debrief.
So the papers are going to get signed.
That's good.
Yeah, everything went very well, actually. I've been doing really good. I'm better at this than I realize.
The protesters are very enthusiastic about making their world a better place. So I don't see how that should be a problem at all.
Yeah,
Making
and
things
then
better is good.
Yeah.
the parade is kind of going along those same lines, and they're making a nice little march tune to it too.
Ooh.
Oh, excellent.
Nice. So you enjoy your evening meal with, actually, some people have dropped by some food from that restaurant that had the actual food grown from dirt, so that you can share some with Aqua, and you have a really enjoyable meal. And then head to the sleeping pods until dawn breaks on the 7th day. Now, your commanders are about to arrive at, let's say, at noon, Rune City Central Time. What last little projects do you want to do? Obviously, the parade's going to be held.
Yep, I'm going to make sure the parade goes extra smoothly, or at least attempt to.
I am going to probably go with Thea on that one, because I already checked all the dots. Like, there's the side projects are good, the papers are getting done. Purple just wants to make sure the parade's good.
Also, I'd like to mention in passing that this will be, I will have rolled on every table if I with rolling holding parades here during this game.
Well done.
Nice. I think I thought we were just all going to work on the parade today, so that was my plan too.
Okay, excellent. Shall we just have one roll from Aqua to?
Yeah,
I think
we can do that
for all her hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's hope we don't get a 1. And it's a 1.
Then
All right.
then is this where we say, can we get additional support?
Yes, I will let each of you also roll your parade roll.
I got
Hope I
an
don't get a 1.
8.
And it's a 1.
I got a
an
6.
Yeah,
An 8? Okay,
8 and a 6.
I'm going to average that out.
Okay.
There are going to be some bumps in the road because you were absolutely confident of all this, and then a voice in the back of your head says, "Wait a minute, I've fought against insurgents before, and some of this is starting to look a little familiar, and it just throws you off your game." And and think you're just like, the parade is going to go, and it's going to go perfectly, and I'm going everything to military precision, and it does. And Purple, you're right there, and you're just making sure every like make sure every last little bit is spit and polished, and at one point you get caught up in things and just are like practically conducting the band as it plays its martial tune as it goes down the street, and the crowd cheers at the sight of all the 3 Space Marines marching in line with their parade of the people. And the crowds are huge. They are, well, let's put it this way. They're bigger than the protests yesterday. As a matter of fact, you see a lot of the same faces. And at the end of it, at the end of the parade route, is the landing pad where your commanding officers have just touched down, and they come out and seeing this parade of people, marching down the street, chanting slogans and holding up signs and having big floats saying, all these things, and the leader of the church, the bishop, and the commander are both there, looking very, very uncomfortable, and arguably the Commander Tang is looking a lot more uncomfortable than the bishop, way more
Good.
uncomfortable. And your commanders kind of looking around, kind of turn to the diplomatic corps, say something, and just kind of nod and smile and there's a look on your face that's somewhere between pride, chagrin, and about to die of laughter. But at the end of the parade, you 3 walk up and stand beside the diplomats as the official signing ceremony takes place, and it does take place. Although you did see the commanders whisper a little bit in each of their ears beforehand. Just as an aside, it's probably sign it or we let them start shooting again. But they didn't really need that much encouragement. They signed the documents, and that's when we roll credits with a hearty "well done" to your squad. Now,
Okay.
over the end credits, as the only tangentially related song plays, we see a montage of the various Marines. Purple is actually shown in several meetings with diplomats. They were center at the signing ceremony, and then later on you see them talking to some diplomats. The diplomats and the Marine Corps starting to work on a project of perhaps training some of the Marines to have some negotiating skills, so that in this kind of event it may not happen, and taking in all Purple's insights from sitting in those negotiations for all those days. Pink is shown, with all of her repair work and all of the people, all of his city, trying desperately to hoist her onto their shoulders and failing miserably. But later on, she is shown with a figure motioning her to the side, from the figure clearly from the Marine Intelligence Division, and then scenes of Pink's knowledge of how raising a insurgency from the people could be used as a combat tactic in the future, and all of her success in that area. And Aqua is of course lauded and promoted for all of her fine work, but really that all kind of pales in comparison to the scene as she's going to her sleep pod and opens up the door, and inside is a picture that's written, "I hope we see each other again. Love, Sabine," and there's a heart drawn on it. The end.